Okay, you've clicked on this, you're ready to write your hate comment, just please watch to the end. Even then, it's possible you might disagree, and that's okay. As they say,
you know, again, it's a game of opinions.
But I do have previous with these kinds of predictions. This is a theory, I don't think it's absolutely guaranteed, but that is a far less interesting title. Be honest, you would not have clicked on here is my theory and opinion which may or may not come true about why Gabriel Jesus got his first goals for Arsenal since October yesterday, but that doesn't change my feeling about this. I don't think Gabriel Jesus will be Arsenal's starting, guaranteed centre-forward for much longer. He may well be for next season, 23-24, but I have a feeling we might see a new number 9 at the club sooner than we think, and possibly this summer. And here is why. Within the last 12 months or so, we've seen a general pivot to more traditional number 9s for a number of big teams. I'm talking proper old school goal scorers. They're channel runners, they have box presence, they score with their head and their feet, they're likely to be the final action guy, they're probably tall, and they're probably physically strong. The better ones might also be able to link play to a high level, like Harry Kane. Look around Europe. Giroud, Haller, Morata, Osimhen, Abraham, Lewandowski, Benzema, Vlahovic, Azmoun. Not all, but most of the teams competing for the title in Europe this season have a striker in that profile who plays most weeks. And in the Premier League, we've seen Haaland, Gakpo, Isaac, and even Weghorst sign for big clubs in the last 12 months. All of whom tick at least most of the boxes outlined. Now, there's a number of possible explanations for that, and I'll be interested to hear your thoughts of why that is in the comments. But here's 5 possible reasons or factors that I posit. Number 1. Lots of teams now play with a single point of attack, nominally a 4-3-3 with 2 wide either side, so it makes sense to have a physical presence as the spearhead of that to occupy centre-backs and create space for more technical and dangerous wide men and midfielders joining the attacking lanes. Number 2. Against low blocks, top sides need different ways of scoring. Prowess from set pieces and pure striking instincts. Just that ability to seemingly score any kind of goal can count for a lot if you have the ball in their third a great deal. Number 3. Top teams now often use their fullbacks in inversions or in high positions in possession, freeing up their midfielders to move into one of the attacking lanes. This means a more static penalty box striker is less of a problem, as you can still create numerical matchups and superiorities. Number 4. The winger market has slightly dried up. The ones that guarantee you golden boot numbers are mostly in their late 20s and 30s, and the next best ones in the world are now generally under 23. Number 5, ultimately, goals are the most valuable thing in football. You need someone who can guarantee that. If you look at the numbers that Golden Boot winners were putting up in the mid-2010s compared to now, there's clearly some room for improvement. So what about Arsenal? Well, I think Arteta will want a traditional 9 in this mould at some point. In terms of our Swiss Army knife, we just don't have that profile. And football is ever more a squad, first 16-17 game, rather than just the first 11. I thought it might come in the form of a wide forward, offering some height, who could also play centrally, but looking at the squad, seeing the trend mentioned, and looking at Arteta's record in the market, I think we might see a more traditional box presence come in for a few reasons. Possibly the least compelling argument, but still worth saying, is this. I don't think you push as hard as we supposedly did for Vlahovic, go after Tammy Abraham a few summers ago, and have the persistent but possibly less credible rumours around Calvert-Lewin and Victor Osimhen if there isn't a certain striker profile in mind at the club. All of those guys are to a greater or lesser extent traditional physical 9s, and we know Arteta prizes physicality perhaps more than, say, a Pep. I just think we're biding our time, as that Kane or Osimhen or Haaland profile is really hard to find. We've also seen links to Rasmus Holland, the 6'3" Atalanta and Denmark striker appearing. That type of striker feels almost destined to fill a hole in Arsenal's attack. When you look at our squad, there is definitely a gap for that type of player stylistically. At the moment, our attack has a lot of quality, but we're not blessed with height and strength. Technical quality has to be paramount in all recruitment, but if you can combine both, you get true phenomenons like Haaland, and possibly Højlund. If you'd like to hear my in-depth scouting reports on Højlund, Vlahovic, Osimhen and Abraham, then you can check out the bonus content to this video on Patreon or by clicking join on the channel below and get that and loads of other benefits by becoming a Different Knock member. When you look at how we play already, I think it's pretty easy to see the growth potential with a proper number 9. It provides us different options. It gives Ramsdale more of a central focal point, gives us another target from set pieces, and means we may have the option to progress more up the centre, as our centre forward can hold the ball, as opposed to our current trend of progressing down the sides with our wide triangles and cutting in. I'm not saying Jesus isn't good or a proper player, he's just not that profile, and this gives us a new dynamic to play with. Looking at our shape when we attack the box, as pointed out in this video, you can see the centre forward is asked to pin the defenders to create space for the 2 8s to be there for the cutback. You can imagine a forward like Osimhen or Haaland in our system encouraged to pin the centre back, creating much more of a problem than say a Martinelli, Jesus or Trossard, because they're more likely to get to the front post for a tap-in, use their head, or get the rebound with their more traditional striking instincts. So many of Haaland's goals for City happen from rebounds, as seen in the Champions League. When was the last time one of our centre forwards scored scored from an instinctive rebound? Well, I'll tell you. It was Jesus in October last year, unless I'm forgetting one, and if I am, there's still not been many. And that brings us really to the crux of it. As great as we're playing now, and as nice as it is to have the amount of different scorers and contributors that we have, I promise you there will be games when we're crying out for an elite goal scorer to come on and make the difference for us, especially when the margins get finer and finer in top-level European competition. There's an inevitability to a Holland or a Kane. They will cash in their customary goal every other game, and possibly more. It doesn't mean they have to start every week, but that, to me, is a crucial tool and component of a squad who would like to be challenging on all fronts as we move into a new phase. Jesus is a fantastic player, but I think his talents may translate better out wide, starting from the area he drifts to anyway, and coming back in centrally. In fact, his goal and assist per game ratio is actually better when he's starting from the wing. I also think signing centre forward might kill two birds with one stone in terms of helping with our Saka issue. Jesus operates terrifically in wide areas, and as Guardiola once said, is one of the best, if not the best, pressing forward in the world. Even when he's playing nominally as the centre forward, Jesus drifts to the left anyway, and often dovetails with Martinelli. Jesus has played on both sides very well before, and is the closest thing in our squad to mimicking the freak profile that is Saka. Ball progression, ability to roll the defender, ability to receive, quality on the in and outside, etc. Mikel relies on Saka so much because there's very few profiles like him. Instead of signing someone for 150 million to give him competition and a rest, I'd use Jesus there. We also have previous for players shifting positions under Mikel Arteta. Saka, White, Partey and Xhaka have all seen their roles and positions change over time, and I don't think they'll be the last ones in the squad. Also, this is probably my least developed argument, but I really doubt that Guardiola doesn't see Jesus as the answer at centre forward, and Arteta does. Jesus turns 26 on Monday the 3rd of April. I still have the belief that his poor finishing and trend of underperforming his XG might come good, but we can't bank on that. If I'm Mikel Arteta, this summer I have to be ruthless, and I have to go out and get a proper goal-scoring 9, but probably someone who I can develop and isn't expecting to play every minute, as I do think there's bigger priorities. Unfortunately, Balogun and Nketiah, for me, don't have the qualities to fulfill that specific role. Watch Arteta witnessing Nketiah missing those chances against City at home. He's not messing around with people who miss those chances. Trust me. A forward group of Saka, Jesus, Martinelli, Trossard, a new 9, and possibly one more is incredibly exciting and has a number of different ways of being deployed. I think, and I hope, we'll see that. But I have to say this whole video might be defunct if we win the league. There's a certain someone who needs to take his rightful place as the proper heir to Henry.